Yesterday, I talked about my manifestation of making sweeping, illogical statements. I explained what happened, how I turned not everyone into nobody without even thinking. I talked about why it happens. Black and white thinking. Autopilot. Taking the path of least resistance. But I realized something after I recorded that video. I was too brief on how to actually stop it. I explained the problem, but I didn't give enough practical solutions. I didn't give people, or myself, a clear roadmap for change. So today, I want to fix that. I want to share 3 techniques that I'm going to use to address this manifestation. They're practical, they're realistic, and they work with the way my brain actually operates. Technique 1, the qualifier rule. Here's the idea. Instead of making extreme, absolute statements, I add a qualifier to every statement I make. A qualifier is a word that limits or specifies my claim. It adds precision. It adds accuracy. It adds logic. So instead of saying everyone likes apples, I say many people like apples, or some people like apples. Instead of saying nobody hates strawberries, I say very few people hate strawberries, or most people enjoy strawberries. Instead of saying AI cannot get any data, I say AI would have limited data, or AI might struggle to get enough data. It's a small change, but it makes a big difference. Because when I add a qualifier, my statement becomes more accurate, more logical, less extreme. I'm no longer making sweeping claims that can easily be disproven. I'm making measured, thoughtful statements that reflect reality. Words like some, many, most, often, sometimes, usually, tends to, may, might, can. These are my qualifiers. I'm going to use them every time I speak. Technique 2. Is that actually true? Pause. This one is a quick mental check before I speak. When I hear something and feel the urge to respond, I pause for a fraction of a second and ask myself, is what I'm about to say actually true? If the answer is no, I rephrase. If the answer is yes, I say it. But the key is that I pause just long enough to check. It's not a long, awkward silence. It's just a tiny gap, a breath, that gives my conscious brain a chance to catch up with my autopilot. Let me give you an example with the AI conversation. My parents said, not everyone is open to sharing their data. I felt the urge to say, then AI cannot get any data. But if I had paused and asked, is that actually true? I would have realized, no, that's not true. Some people are open to sharing. Not everyone is closed off. So I would have said, so AI would have less data to work with. That's accurate. That's logical. That's not extreme. Another example. If someone says, I don't really like spicy food, and I feel the urge to say nobody likes spicy food, I pause and ask, is that actually true? And I realize, no, that's not true. Many people love spicy food. I'm just projecting my own preference onto everyone else. So I rephrase. I also find spicy food challenging. Technique 3, the listen for nuance practice. This one is about training my brain to hear precision in what others say. Because if I can hear nuance, I can speak with nuance. Here's how it works. When someone speaks, I pay attention to the qualifiers they use. I notice when they say some instead of all, or often instead of always, or tends to instead of is. I train my brain to hear the precision in their language. For example, my parents said, not everyone is open to sharing their data. If I had been listening for nuance, I would have noticed they didn't say nobody. They said, not everyone. That means some people are open to sharing. The nuance was there. I just missed it because I wasn't paying attention. Another example. If a colleague says some clients prefer email communication, I noticed they didn't say all clients. They said some. That means there are clients who prefer other methods. The nuance is there. I just need to hear it. So I'm going to practice this daily. Every time someone speaks, I'll notice the qualifiers they use. I'll train my brain to hear precision. And over time, I'll start speaking more precisely because I'm hearing more precisely.